Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to Trade Setup and the live stream, the daily live stream for the 22nd of November. I hope we're all doing well, and we're keeping an eye on these markets. They are, bouncing a bit, so they're quite strong today. Actually, very strong. Um, we'll take a look at. We'll do our usual go over the markets today. Take a look at a few things. Take a look at obviously where the ASX is in the price structure for today. We'll look at the Aussie. Take a look at the S&P too, and there was another thing. I think I've got spot gold just on the cards to take a look at as well. Um, but before we get into it, um, if anyone has any questions, like if they want to put something to chat, I know we've got one through via email from Clement, and it's something that I was looking at too. So I really like that. As an elder, so we'll take a look at that later on. If you've got anything, just send it to support@tradesetup.com.au, or just put through the code onto chat, um, and then we'll get into that after their presentation today. So what we're going to look at today is the Internet of Things. All right, so we have a bit of discussion on that. I only just learned that recently, and Davin popped up. We are having a chat about it the other day, so we'll look into that. And one of the best examples, I guess, of that comes to mind is Tesla. And there's all other applications for it, but something that I think with the technology and the way it's going will really kick off. It's going that way anyway, but just with technology and the advances day in day out, that's just going to get more and more of a part of our lives. So we'll take a look at that a bit later on, just after the market wrap. And again, just the usual, we've got our general advice warning on the screen there. You can see any questions, and we've got our new website, which we've discussed a few times. So yeah, take some time to have a bit of a look through that. And again, if you've got any questions on those results or the Trade Setup app, just send it through. Send through an email to us. Feel free to trial it as well. If you're new, if you're not using it at all, if you don't know anything about it, and you've just got a hold of these videos, just jump on and do your 5-day free trial. See what you think. Any questions, send it through to via email tradesetup.com.au. And if you can, I mean, it'd be much appreciated if you like what we're doing and where we're heading and what we're trying to do, just jump onto social media also. We're going to get some links up there soon. Obviously, being a new website, we're still just putting the finishing touches on it. But if you can get us onto social media and just like us, that would be lovely. More friends the merrier for me, anyway. Yeah, that'd be great. So let's get into it. How are we all doing today, and how's the markets treated us the last couple of days, start of this week? I hope we're doing well. So we can see the ASX currently up 61 points. That's I wasn't expecting to be this strong today. After I know the US has been strong, and we're taking our lead from the US. Obviously, Europe was pretty much flat last night. You'll find their index closes a lot, so a lot of the action in the US is probably after hours. Maybe the European markets haven't quite adjusted for that, so they might open up strong today. I think it's at what 5, 6 o'clock or something to Melbourne time, Sydney time. They'll they might kick off a bit stronger today. Um, but we're a lot stronger than what I thought today. Now we were discussing. Let's just take a quick look. We were discussing this setup. I think it was either yesterday or the day. Oh, sorry, it wouldn't be the day before. That was Sunday, Friday. Just looking at the price structure. And we're discussing. I think it was yesterday actually. Just discussing this type of setup just here on the ASX. Um, After touching down at 50-50. So I've got a feeling this is going to catch a few people unawares, and might be just waiting for that deep correction, a bit of a rollover, to getting negative on the markets because of these two lower highs. Um, but really, the key level was 50-50, which held up a touchdown there to a T. I think that actually was a lower 50-50 on that big sell-off, low 50-52, and the previous lows were 51. So pretty much spot on that support. That's the key level holding up this leg, and we've contracted back down, retested it, and then looks like this is the only sort of pullback potentially we could be getting. We could be heading high from here. So it's looking good, and that type of weak pullback is going to catch people off guard, and you might find people running to get back in the market if they've been washed out with this big move down. So yeah, that's just keep an eye on that, and just remember that even though we are into overbought, we're a bit stretched up here. There's nothing to say we can't hang around here for quite a while and really push our way back up. So we could be in for some good moves, and that's what's showing at the moment. Especially look at the half-an-hour chart. That's 5-minute chart. You can see this nice, really nice price action. You've got lower highs, lower lows, and then we built a higher low, and then we started taking out some of these previous lower highs, building some more higher lows, and then bang, today it's just up and away. So that's interesting. Now let's just quickly go over. So that's the Aussie ASX 30-minute chart. I've got this highlighted just to bring into your attention some really nice moves on the half-an-hour chart. You can see this big washout low, and a lot of these times they wash out and it can grind back. It's building these high lows, and then just in here, that's a really nice entry. Even through here, a breakout through what's that overnight? I think 53.66. Even that led to a really good gain if you can hold it into the open today. I was expecting potentially just to pop up above 53.80 and work our way back into that zone like we had the last few days, but it's really kicked on. Yeah, so it looks it looks good. It looks strong. I really like that. I like that setup, especially on the ASX. Aussie. Let's quickly go over this Aussie dollar. Does anyone trade forex, by the way? Anyone here have a bit of a play around on the forex market? No, I do. I've got and Davin also a big history of playing around on the Aussie and the Euro and currencies. There's some really nice setups in the currencies, but this Aussie has taken a bit of a belting after getting through 77.50, making that lower high, and it's just been pushing south ever since. And that's obviously on the back of US dollar strength and all the hoo-ha in the US. I like that word. I don't even know what it means, to be honest. But all that positivity in the US is really dragged that US dollar up. But I think uh, I'd get a bit not concerned about it, but just be careful. Buy the rumor, sell the fact. We mentioned that yesterday. Um, just be careful that everyone's going to be buying, expecting the US dollar. Okay, interest rate rises, this, that, and the other. But they've only had one at the end of last year, one this year. So if they're going to gear up for the next interest rate rise and it's going to go along the same note, one the end of next year, it's a year away. So just we could get a bit of a sell-off in the US dollar coming up to the interest rate announcement. Once all those profits, profit takers jump in to sell off the US dollar that they've been buying up in the last week or so, or even a lot longer than that, really. Yeah, which means we could have a bit of a bounce in the Aussie, a bit of a bounce in gold, anything sort of denominated in US dollars. Yeah, that anyway, that's an hourly chart. You can see that just really sold through, a key level at 74.45. Hasn't really looked back at all. It's just had a big leg down, big double top up there. I think we've had a look at the daily previously. But actually, we can't get enough data. We'll just stick with this hourly chart. It's still holding trend, so it's made a lower high. It's only a minor one at 74.06. It's really just holding below that. It's just contracting up there. We could easily get, as prices getting a bit stretched up here, it could easily just roll over, make a lower high, and then away we go, another leg down. In context, all this major leg down from 77.50, or it could just pop back up, retest that 74.45, or just that breakout area, and then start rolling over. But yeah, I think it's got a fair bit of work to do before it finds a lot more buying. Let's kick over to the US. This is the S&P. Now I think they had another record closing on the Dow and the S&P last night. So they're really kicking along strong. And you can see that big sell-off, that was prior to their open, prior to the US day session opening, and then that big bounce back, and then it's just grinding higher ever since then. I think it's good sooner or later you're going to get. I would expect to see a bit of profit taking, or they're just going to work it up into Christmas or into the interest rate announcement from the FOMC. Whether they're just going to push it up into that and then sell off, or we see just a bit of profit taking. But this has just been grinding higher since Trump, and I think sooner or later he's going to have to produce the goods, if you know what I mean. He's going to have to show them that, okay, we're all assuming that his policies are going to bring about inflation, but if he's going to have to start implementing them soon, the market's too impatient. Especially if you're sitting on profits, they're going to want to see something very soon, or something pop up, something to keep this move going. Otherwise, you just get a bit of profit taking, a bit of a rollover. So just keep an eye out for that. But you can see it's up and overbought, so it's getting a bit stretched up here. Probability of it continuing is getting a bit harder, but that price structure that's a 1 hour, don't forget, is beautiful. It's just grinding higher, making higher lows, taking out the higher highs, making new higher highs, only minor, and then just sort of curving its way out. This could easily just accelerate and pop and wash out a lot of short traders. So just be careful of that, keep an eye on that. Last but not least, we've got gold. It has worked its way off 1200. I think we were discussing it a few days ago. It could be a decent baser in that 1205 zone, and it has worked off that. Still a key level at, what is it, 1230, holding that down at the moment, and that's an hourly chart also. So you can see those that lower high built as we sort of squeezed into that zone at 1230, made a lower high and just sold off, and we're sort of in that process of squeezing back up again, contracting back up. We may, if we head right back up to 1230, it's starting to look a bit, and then I'd expect more buyers to start stepping if we get that type of price action. But if it falls short, I think we're describing this, we look for a 1/3 to 2/3 thereabout contraction of a leg down. So that's your leg down here, say from 12.30 bucks, anywhere from 12.10, I guess, to 12.30 thereabouts. Sorry, 12.20. Contracting back up then, if it's going to continue and then make some more lower highs, and then off she goes again straight through 12. It could happen easily, but this is a major support zone. So we'll see how that plays out. Any questions on those, guys, just before we get into it? Anyone position themselves on gold or the last few days just with that breakout through the Aussie? On the ASX 200? I got your email, Clement, so just with my memory, the way it's been the last few days, my weekend, just remind me to look at that stock, ELD, Elders. All right. Well, let's get into it. Now, what I want to discuss today, what we discussed with Davin previously, is the Internet of Things. I'm right into technology and all these little knickknacks, I guess you'd call them, all little things that to make life easier, I guess. And you've got all the smartphones when they come on board. That just things just went nuts, and then everything. Then you got smart watches, and everything can be controlled from that. So the Internet of Things is really just using the internet to gather the data on different products and being able to control yourself from a central point, control your life in essence, I guess, from a central point. Now Tesla's a massive, I don't know how big they are and how the cars are going, but that's such a futuristic car. I haven't looked into it too much, but that's using the internet and just using, it's like a computer on wheels, really. And that's the type of thing that this area is all about. I think we all know. I mean, I guess the latest thing too is the block. I don't know if anyone watched the block and how they had everything on their phone, or you can get it on a tablet to control the lights, control the music, control the sound. So you can even control your fridge through the internet. You can control everything. So you get in from one central point. You get on your phone and you can just do whatever you want. TVs, all that sort of stuff. Recordings can all be done through all through your phone, all through the internet. So as technology advances, that just gets better, speeds advance, all that sort of stuff. And there's obviously more than just those applications out there. And we know, everyone knows about it. It's nothing new. This Internet of Things, or what we're discussing, nothing new. There's definitely nothing new. We've all got it to some extent, but I think it's got a long way to go. I think the expansion, and I guess it's built on people's laziness too. I mean, I love all that sort of stuff, and anything that's going to help me stay on the couch in essence and just control it from my phone, I'm happy for that. And that's just going to get bigger and bigger as people start implementing to their homes and just implementing different things they've got. For a good explanation, jump onto Wikipedia. I've got it up here. If I can find where I had it, here we go. Yeah, just go on Wikipedia, and they give you a little explanation here. It's got the Internet of Things is the internet working of physical devices, vehicles, buildings, and other items embedded with electronic software, sensors, actuators. I'm not even sure what that is, and network connectivity that enable those objects to collect and exchange data. In 2013, the Global Standards Initiative of Internet of Things, that's IoT, I guess is the code, but you can just Google all this sort of stuff, defined IoT, Internet of Things, as the infrastructure of information society. Okay, so there's some of the applications, just reading down here, things in the IoT sense can refer to a wide variety, not just around your house and Tesla cars and bits and pieces, a variety of things such as heart monitoring implants. I guess they collect data from that, all that. I don't know how they do it now, but I'm guessing they can just, you can monitor people from the hospital, I guess, if someone got the pacemaker or anything like that in there, sending out signals, and they can just monitor it. So if something happens, they can get onto it really quickly. I'm guessing that's where it's all heading if it's not there already. Biochip transponders on farm animals, electric clams in coastal waters. That sounds really automobiles with built-in sensors. We know that one. DNA analysis devices for environmental, food, pathogen monitoring, or field operation devices that assist firefighters in search and rescue operations. I've actually, it just come to mind. Then I've got some friends of mine that have got a business. They built it over the last few years. They were into the internet, obviously building websites, did really well, and then they got into something where for farming. I don't know what it is, this big box thing. They just go and implement it. It's got cameras and different things, but the actual farmers can keep an eye on their stock and just all sorts of stuff just by jumping online and just getting on the computer and just connecting up to that wireless camera. And they were starting to put them on buildings as well, just put them on different buildings and watching weather, and just monitoring. I don't know. I think there's a fair few applications for it, but I think I find it very interesting anyway. Has anyone got any other ideas keep of applications, I guess, or anything they know of that could be of interest? We've got a few stocks we're going to look at in just a second. I've got it actually. We'll just get into it. So that's what we're looking at. I reckon it's a huge growth area. It's already kicking off. Like we said, Telstra, a major sponsor of the block. They had all these different things hooked up, which I never really thought of, and I thought I'm a bit IT savvy. But it's just interesting the way it's all going. You can do everything from your phone. Someone knocks at the door, they press the bell, it comes to your phone. You can see who it is, and you can let them in. You can unlock the door from your phone. Everything you get a walking computer, and as they get better, um, I guess the internet connection between your phone gets a lot better. You just have more. It's just going to open a wide variety of applications, and there's probably things sitting on the sidelines that we can do. We just haven't got the ideas to kick. Well, the ideas are there, but it's just I guess the IT behind it. But that'll change really quickly, I'd say, rapidly. But anyway, let's take a look at a couple of stocks. In regards to this, I think have got potential. One we've looked at for a while. Let me get that up. Altium, ALU. Now let's just get what they do. That's not what I wanted. Altium Limited is engaged in development and sale of computer software for the design of electronic products. And it's based in Australia, sales operations around Americas, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and China, East Asia. So they're quite large, obviously they're quite far-reaching. So I think that the potential there is really big. Let's just get on there. But looking at the chart, has anyone followed AOU or have been following that? You can see that that's a 30-minute chart. Sorry. Let's go back to the weekly and the monthly. Look at that. We got through $6. It had sort of that consolidation, a few lower highs in there, built a nice solid base around the 25, had a bit of a push up, went back down to retest 25, all that zone in there, and then bang, off she goes. Just really took off, and that's been probably in the last month. It's really starting to get a bit extended up towards $10. Some really nice price action in there. I think it could easily, this could just be a bit of a pullback. We might see some longer term consolidation after that big like we said, after a nice, good, strong move higher, accelerated move higher, we expected some sort of term of length of consolidation, even building some lower highs, get back to a spot where buyers are happy to jump in again. We had some profit taking, washed a few of these people, these late buyers out. Anyone that's been in for quite a while to take a bit of profit, take some off the table at least, book it, and find a bit of a base, at level where people are happy to jump in again. I think we might see some contraction in there and then just consolidation. We might just come to a point, lower highs, higher lows, and then that'll perk our interest again, obviously. Roger Montgomery, yeah. Look, we've had, I think a long time ago, Davin either, it was myself or Davin alerted this through TradeSetup. The app did really well because some of this price structure is really nice. You can see that's, you start kicking up, you're making higher lows here. It's pushing up, contracted back in and built some high lows, and off she goes. This level through here, $6, really nice. You can see that contracting in, holding in, and that washout too is a good little sign. Pops up and away it goes there. So yeah, going well. So I think well, let's just quickly draw that up. Uh, Here we go. We can all see that well. All right. Yeah, looks good. So a nice run up here. It's building those higher lows like we like to see through here. That was beautiful after that washout, contracting in there, even if you just bought it through here. And this is what we've discussed a few times. When you get that pop up, people may be waiting. I don't know how they trade, but different styles of tradings, and then you start consolidating at those highs where people might expect that push out a good pullback, a bit more, and then go. It goes up, pulls back, consolidates, you know, really doesn't do anything, and actually just bang, and off she goes, and it catches them a bit late, so people have to scramble to jump in. I like that type of setup. It looks nice. It's going with momentum. Everything's on its side, so that's great. So it led to a good run up from, what was it, 650 thereabouts to 750, about $1, and then whatever that was probably on the back of news. It just popped, really went on with it. Yeah, it really went really well. So now what we could be getting, uh, like I said, I like putting trend lines in like that just to get a bit of an idea of what's happening. We're contracting lower. Whether we're making a base, we just come to a point and break it out. Let's just clean this up a bit. Whether we're just coming in from here, we pushed up. Whether we just come back and contract a bit before start building again. Taking out some recent highs and then maybe a retest and then go. We could be doing something like that. So it'd be interesting to see from here on in, but it has, that run up there has been quite strong. All right. So, but something definitely to keep an eye on in that sector or in that space anyway. All right. Let's, has anyone traded this or followed this AOU? Paul, did you get into this at all, or did you have a dabble at this one? So I'm just having a sip of coffee there. It's been a long weekend, so I'm really loading in the coffees today, which is probably normal anyway. There's a couple of $1 million done through today. That's good. So yeah, we like that one. So that's something we'll be keeping an eye on. If it does set up, I'd like to see a bit of contraction in. Longer term, this could have some great potential. I mean, it's already going quite well, but something to keep an eye on. Let's go to the next one. IoT group, obviously a bit smaller, but just to go over this one, let's just take a look at that. That's all the data. All right, so we can see, yeah, it's had a good, weekly. All right, so it's obviously opened up quite strong at 40, I think, when it floated or whatever happened. It's ground its way lower. It got down to about the 2.5 cents, popped up, built some lower highs, and now we're sort of back down there again. If we drill down, but what we're seeing now, well, like technically it looks really nice. We're starting to pop off that 2 cent level where it's done a bit of price action before, where it's spent some time working. Unfortunately not. I've got to figure out where we actually, sorry, Paul, where we actually got that from. And what I can't remember where we traded. I know we've traded that one, did all right. I don't know if we got it before. I don't think we got it before that big spike up, but I'm probably kicking myself. That's why I've decided not to remember. All right, so we can see. Just give me my drawing tool back up again. No, no, that's not it. Still a beginner, as you can see with this tool. All right, so spend a lot of time. That's one or thereabouts, but and then through two. So I had that pushed down. We're perking up, kicked up. Obviously, back in news, I'm guessing, building some high lows. Done a bit of work around the $2 level, and had a big run up, a big accelerated move. And after that, we've got some, contraction, a bit of a washout, and it's just seen to come all the way back down there, back down to two. But what we're seeing now is a nice sort of controlled move. We're starting to get a bit more buyers. It's spent a bit more time. Um, if I can get that, where are we? So 2016, what's that? That is from about August. Spent a few months there, a few months just building this base. It's just popping out, washing out a little of these minor levels, come back down. It's been bought up again, and it's popping back up again. So what we want to see now, that's consolidation, another minor high low. I'd like to see a bit more. We've got this, it's oscillating around here. Want to see start a bit of a shoot up. Maybe it works its way back down again, and then building some high lows again. But in context, you want to see some better high lows, and then we start seeing that price action until it gets to the point where people can see it building, and then it starts dragging in some buyers. Whoop. Does it make sense? So I'd like to see probably a bit more price action for me, but that's definitely it's at a good level. It's at a good spot. I think it's in that sector again. We like that. I think that's a big growth potential in that into that area. Um, yeah, this is definitely one that's sitting ready. And you can just see these last few days. If we drill down into that last sort of recent price action, that to me is starting to kick up. It's got a bit of volume. See that candle there? What's that volume say compared to that green candles? 30 million shares there, and we did on that day was 78 million shares or thereabouts. So that's really starting to pick up. Another good volume day there, 33 million shares. So what's the high there? High of 3.7, and it's just traded through that high only by point whatever a cent, 0.01 if I can count, something like that. It's just starting to kick up now. All right, so just keep an eye on that one. We want to get that build, maybe a push up, a bit of a contraction back, and then you get that first wave of buyers come in, maybe a second wave of buyers that say, hang on a second, I missed out on that first bit. Let's get on board. Let's see where this goes and get that accelerated move up. And ideally, like we said before, we'd like to see that kick up, consolidate at highs, and hold those highs. Really, to start dragging those people in, then you'll get some. I think you'd see some serious action after that. All right, any questions on that one? You got that one, Paul? Or you? How's Roger on that one? All right. So yeah, I think it looks good. Obviously, we won't go over Telstra, but Telstra's got they're starting to get in this area. Obviously, they've got all the infrastructure and everything there. Um, obviously, we won't look at. Let's just look at the chart actually. I'm being an R-ing, aren't I? Yeah, so you see that's pushed down. Yeah, so that might be just a big longer term contraction. We're starting to get down to second time, it's starting to get a bit stretched when it heads down to 480 or so. Could easily just keep rolling over. We don't know, but I think it's got a bit of work to do before we start jumping into that one. But they're in that space, something to keep an eye on. All right. There's another one I've just found, just to quickly finish this topic right before we get into some other stuff. TZL, this is done next to nothing. It's only small, obviously, but that's something. I mean, technically, it's not showing us anything just yet, but that's in the space. Let me just see. Yeah, very, very small at the moment. So they're engaged in the development of intelligent and smart devices systems through, however you say that. I'm always picking the ones I can't say properly, pronounce. It is also involved in provision of a fee-for-service business through product development technologies. Operates in the US and the UK and Ukraine. Right, so a couple of big markets there. It's starting to crack into, I guess. So some potential there, something to keep on the radar. But yeah, I just sort of I'll push that one up there to have a look at. Still a bit of work to do. It's just holding down to that 5 cent level. What you'd want to see, obviously, the price action we spoke about many times, start to build some higher lows, hold them, and then off we go. Yeah, we'll take a look at it in just 2 seconds. All right, just the last one in this one, NTC. All right, it's had a good run up, it's contracting. So that again, just keep an eye on this one if you're interested in this area and what we're talking about, and the Internet of Things. This probably, I'd say, it's got a bit of work to do. I'm guessing. Starting to roll. You can see those lower highs really rolling over more than anything else. You want to see this level hold, start kicking up off $2 maybe, or it might even contract a bit more. We'll see how that goes, but just another one in that area to have a look at. All right, guys, any questions? And then we'll get on to so we'll start off with elders. Clement, we'll have a look at that one. Oh yeah, Telstra, that's right, Paul. Maya, I'll have a look at Maya too and WFD. All right. So yeah, definitely with that, keep an eye in that area. I'm always interested in IT, and I'm always interested in how the next stages. There's always something new, some idea or whatever that's just going to change things. So I think as people get more and more used to it, more IT savvy, and the infrastructure gets better, these things are just going to take off. So keep an eye on that sector. All right, let's take a look at elders now. I think we actually did an alert on that today as well, Clement. I don't know if you see the TradeSetup app. If you got that, it was a paid alert, obviously, but we do like this one. And the reason we'll go through this, we'll forget about that. Right, well, let's look at the monthly. Okay, it's pushed up, a double top. That's all fair enough. Rolled over, and it's spent a lot of time below 10. Obviously, many years below 10. Let's get back to show us the price action better. Yeah, so we can see we're starting to lift off that dollar, 50 cents to a dollar with those lows. Yeah, okay, we're starting to lift off that area and take out a few of these recents. We're not up at $6, but pushing up, maybe contracting a bit. So from what it looks like, just on this weekly basis, I spent a lot of time pushing up off the 50 cent mark, dollar mark, building some higher lows, higher highs. Just worked its way off that at the start of 2016, but it's holding some good levels just now through here at 330. Just bring that out a bit, and I'll draw that. Right, I'll get a drawing of that. Right, I am ready. XPE, yeah, I saw that. I haven't looked at the chart, to be honest. I'll take a look at that in a second. Okay, so you actually made me laugh when you sent that email through. I saw that pop out, and we were watching it a while ago. I hadn't taken a notice of it for too much recently, but elders, that is, we're talking about. Had a bit of a giggle when I saw your email come through. So you can see that trend through here. You know, we've had that big push up. Now we're contracting, but what we're starting to see, let's just take that off there. We're starting to see some higher lows hold through here, and we've got a definite level through, say, the 410. And you can see that that type of price action is not bad. I mean, that could easily lead to a. There's no reason why we can't be doing something like this. You know, holding the higher lows. We've retested that. You know, come back down. So we've got that price action. There's no reason why we can't just roll over from here. But at the moment, with the, if you remember the weekly where it is and what it's doing, we'll just go back to that weekly. Yeah, it's had a good run up, and we're starting. It's just showing signs of starting to pop up, especially after what it's done. It's rolled off that $6, I think it was, pushed up, had a bit of a retest, not retest, but a push up towards 6. So these recent highs through here, if you can see on the, yeah, just in here, push up. If we can build a base here, that could take us up and through $6. So just remembering that on the weekly basis, and it's starting to curl up on the stochastic, which I don't mind seeing that. Whether it's just going to be, yeah, push up into there and we get a good extension, or it's a lower high, yet to be known yet. But the signs are starting to show this type of price action I like. So we were looking at it through here, contracting off there. We got that push up. We want to see a higher low, which we got, and basically we're looking at a $4 mark, which is probably about there now. Happy to buy it into there just to see if this higher low can hold. I like that type of price structure. If we draw that up, we'll drill in on it. Yeah, I don't mind that price structure. So it's been up to $4.10. Yeah, a push up, made a lower high, pushed back down, retested the lows, started to push back up in the $4.10, built a higher low, and then we built another inside higher low just below 380. That to me is nice price structure. It's going to have another go at 410 by the looks of it. And this time I mean, it may have the emphasis to push through, it may not, but it's starting to look good. You get these big spikes down as well. That's probably over the Trumpinator getting elected. Bit of rejection off there. Now after building that higher low, I like that. That looks nice, and I want to see this type of price structure. See, it's just curling up, holding. It's retesting a level, pulling back, holding these highs, and then off she goes. That's not a good accelerated move, but I think in context of all this and what we're seeing, major higher lows, inside higher lows, get on the inside higher lows, you know where your risk is, and then it could kick up. And if we can get through 410, I think there'll be a lot of people watching that level. If it rolls over, then we could potentially just have a break-even trade, just lock something in, or take some off up there if it just touches it a few times. I mean, it's only 10 cents, but it gives us the option from taking an inside level. Does that make sense on that one? All right, let's just click it over to, what do you want, Maya? Let's go back to a, doesn't look good on that chart. That's your monthly. That trend's definitely down in your monthly. Could be rolling over. We don't know. Okay, so just keep into context. Longer term charts, not looking the best. Looking a little bit sad. If we bring it up on a, this is sort of the, also considering, sometimes I get caught up in a bit of a futures view. It's just as easy to go up as it is to go down. Whereas on stocks, sometimes, I mean, it's more geared to go up on stocks. Okay, it's open-ended on the top side, but it can only go to zero. So really, for markets, just keep getting sold off. There's got to be something fundamentally wrong with the company, or it's just a spate of bad news. People are getting disillusioned. Maybe nothing wrong with the company, but then it's got to build. All right, but futures, like currencies, I guess as well. There's no reason they just can't keep going down, devalue big time, or just, but they sort of oscillate around a midpoint, I guess, whereas stocks are geared longer term. The better they're geared to go up. So when they're falling over, they're contracting, and it's more like it's getting squashed like a spring ready to bounce. That's the way I view it. When they go too hard, obviously it's like an elastic band getting stretched, and they've got to come back in just to continue that momentum up, sort of oscillate between higher highs, higher lows on the way up. But when they're going down, they tend to fall off a cliff, and then buyers are happy to step in if there's bad news, or it's generally something that people are not looking for. Everyone, I mean, why am I describing all this to everyone? Everyone knows that if you're following your stocks, but um, what I was trying to say with that monthly, we're down at the support level around that dollar mark. We've come from 370, 380. I made a major lower high. So that in a downtrend, but it's like that spring getting pushed down. It's going to run out of selling, or buyers are going to find a point where they're happy to buy it, whether that's around a dollar. But I'm just saying it's come from some highs, some good highs. It's come quite low. It's had one, push down, leg up, push down, lower high, big push down over a long time, say 2013, mid 2015. I don't know if that's because the industry changed and it's gone sort of more online and they've started jumping in and built their online presence. Who knows? Um, and that's maybe what they're seeing now. But if you drill into a weekly, you can see these high lows building, just taking out some of these minor levels, lower highs. And but what I do like this is this last few days, I guess, is just the main thing. It's headed back down to a dollar, where it's touched on once. It's gone through there at this stage, the beginning of the year, pushed up, took out the highs, went down, retested a dollar, just washed it out, traded back up to the recent highs around, what is that high of 126? Actually, we'll draw it up. It probably makes a lot of sense. Just that most recent price action there. So it's been down here. You can see that trend has pushed up. It's just broken out of that, but it's just come back down and retested that dollar. It seems to have rejected there. So it'll be interesting to see from here if that's going to hold. Again, it's your old high lows, lower highs, just to get. My management has stated they are now very confident regular earnings growth, so that's driving force in the new uptrend. Yeah, so there's been a bit of a catalyst there. I, I think it doesn't look too bad. I don't mind it. Just say if that's that leg down here, we push it up, done the same, made that high low, had a push up, come back down and retested. I'd love to see this top price action, just something, to bring in high low build above, say $1.10 to $1.15 or $1.20 thereabouts in that zone, just to bring in some more buyers because people might be going, oh, it's going to roll over again. All the bears rolling over again, builds that high low, and then that'll start dragging in some more buying. But I think we're getting to that stage where, especially where it's come from, the monthly chart, um, maybe go down to a daily. Well, there's a couple of good days, solid days. So that I think we just discussed this the other day, did we, Paul? Yeah, they do, but I just read your comment there, Paul. Don't you think significant announcements such as this really render past technical trends as less important? What are your views on this? They do. They just sort of change the landscape. It doesn't. I don't think it changes the actual levels because people are still. There's a lot of people who are trading out their technicals for entries and exits. Um, it's hard for me to think that just because of what they say it's going to change, it's just going to go up in a straight line. It's all emotions. I look at technicals as emotions more than and emotions at different levels. So if people have jumped in on that announcement, and they want some profit, people are still going to profit take. They might take some off. They're not just going to sit and hold it because of an announcement. But I still think you're going to come back to the technicals for different levels where there's going to be action and reaction. But they can certainly, announcements like that can certainly turn things on a dime. Does that make sense? So I I do like a good catalyst like that, but then I think people always revert. Not even there's people that are pure fundamentalists, which is fine by me. I find that hard because then how do you enter? Where do you enter? Do you just wait for an announcement to enter to buy? I mean, it could be really, really stretched. They say something, you jump in on the fundamental announcement of whatever reason, and then people who are in the know are starting to sell it to you. We don't know what's happening, but I find it hard. I always like to have a bit of a background of something where I might be trading. If it's a smaller one, just to see what they do, see what's come out in the past. Um, and then I'm looking for an entry. I'm looking for an entry off from a chart, just so I can. It's really just so I can limit my risk because it's not charting's not new at all. A lot of people do it. I find it easier learning, probably easier learning technicals than learning fundamentals. Balance sheets and different things like that. They could move it, profit and loss, all that sort of stuff. I find it easy learning the technical, so I like the psychology part of it too. So I really see a lot of psychology in levels and in charts. Yeah, bit of a rambling then, but it's always good. Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying here is I like that. I don't want that technically as well. For me, I mean, if this just keeps going up, I miss out and I'll go somewhere else. But if it's starting to, technically it's starting to show signs, I think it's early stages just on a technical basis, had a good catalyst. Sooner or later, if you bought it at 110, 125, intraday traders might have bought it on that catalyst, may take some profits. So you may see different time frames hit the market, selling, major longer time frames might be buying it. Um, Shorter time frame traders might be just taking a bit of a profit off the table, selling some, selling a partial, who knows? But looking good, looking good. Um, can you look at LNK? No worries, Bill. There was something else, is it? No, we looked at that. WFD we've looked at before, I think. Let's look at LNK. All right. Weekly, monthly. Oh, it hasn't done. So that just come on just before 2006, was it? So obviously it's right down sort of where it started around that $7 mark, 7.20. You can see, oh, people can't see it, I guess. On the far left of the screen, it sort of floated about there. Come on about $7 or just above. I think that's right, Bill. Um, Actually, weekly chart there, probably a bit clearer. On a weekly basis, we've got that run up, big sell off, probably on some, but it's sort of still holding a higher low, and then you get another little run up. It's built another higher low, inside higher low to this high at $8. Built that. Yeah, it's continued. It's taken out this little inside lower high too, so it's squeezed upon its. Probably on the daily, it might show up a bit better. Yeah, on the daily, let's just draw it up. On the daily, it's showing up a lot nicer. Sorry, let's be one. Bear with me a minute. All right. So that's looking, showing some good signs. All right, so we've had a bit of a push up, pull back there, big sell off, found the base through, what's that, 720, contracted in, whoops, contracted in, and then popped up and taken out these levels through here. So that's about 775 thereabouts, and heading its way up, and pull back, push up, taking out these highs only mildly. So that's not the best of signs when you see, especially from how deep, big deep contraction, a big push up. You'd want to see it consolidate under there for a strong continuation high. And then we've just got this, obviously it's moving lower. At the moment, this is a daily chart. I'm not seeing anything apart from, we just take all this off, sort of from these lows, it's just washed out those lows as well. I don't know if there's anything fundamental that's news that could drive this up. Um, to me, it's just down the bottom end. It could just be, this could push up and then you could just go bang straight back through, straight down. And when you've got, it's still got a bit of room on the downside too to move. Um, yeah, it's still got a bit of room to move on the downside. So if we get, it's had that move up and then start building some lower highs and then taking out some of these inside levels, then it could easily roll over. But obviously, you want to see the reverse. It's had a push up off a good solid base. I'd rather see it could just do this and then start perking up from here with some higher lows in there, and then start popping up. And then it's got a lot of room on the upside as well. So for me, it's a bit of an each way bet just at the moment. Yeah, so but I mean, keep an eye on it. It's sort of coming off a good area. Did you want to? Was it Paul? Look at ASX, the stock, or Will? That's obviously we know what that's like. That's looking good. Obviously had a big run up. through the GFC, massive sell-off, pretty much like everything else. And spent a lot of time building some high lows, even washing them out. A bit of a washout. You can see that market's contracting in here. Had a bit of it, started perking up from there, really picking up. This is beautiful through here. And you can see, so we're starting to get a bit more accelerator move up, a bit more contraction, starting to see a few more days, a bigger move higher, and it's a contraction lower. So that one, if you just go back to a daily, selling off, it's currently selling off, and this is a key level around 48, just where that lower high was. It's just up there now. I'd maybe if that can break, you see that break, maybe a pullback, build another higher low, and then potentially for move higher. But at the moment, it's actually worth keeping an eye on, especially because of the weekly chart. It's coming off that bit stretched down here, so that's potentially a good high low building. So we could get that accelerator move up, but from past performance of this stock, it could have a bit of work to do still. XPE. We there, guys? I think I'm back. Don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. But you can see that. I think I was just saying what you missed. I don't know how long I was out there for. I probably just fell asleep. What we got is that we got that big level down here around that $2, 2.5 cents to 3 cents. Um, I want to see some high lows build it and potentially just break out of this downtrend, this big downtrend here before, and then even if it has a like it has previously has a good key run up, that might catch a few people, drags them up, and then builds, maybe even coming back, building this top price section, then going. That would be nice to see. I think still, like I said, got a bit of work to do. All right. Sorry, missed that last little bit, but I think we'll call it a day there. Is there anything else, just quickly, if you can hear me? That is. Let me just quickly we've got that. Right, that looks good. Oh, good. No, fantastic. All right. Thanks again for joining us, guys. That was good. Look, if there's any topics that you want to have a bit of a look at, just send it through to TradeSetup at support. Sorry, God, mine's reverse, support at tradesetup.com.au. All right. So if there's any sort of topics you want to cover, we might have another look at some trades just towards the end of the week. I've got a few trades that we've got. Just look at the setups for them, a bit of a breakdown of the price structure, and then we'll get a few more topics going for the rest of the week as well. Yeah, but thanks for joining us. That was fantastic. Again, if you can just like the video, it would be great. Get us on all our social media. We're all over the place. We're all over the place. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, even Google. Just jump on there if you can. And then, yeah, thanks for supporting us. That's great. And we'll speak to you again at the same time tomorrow at 12:30. All right, guys. Cheers. Bye.